All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It is June 27th of 2023. If you can believe that, June is almost gone. And here we are looking at the futures, and we are trying to gap up a little bit. I'm not shocked by this. Yesterday's action was pretty rough. You can see here on my time frames on the year, the quarter, the month, the week, and the daily here that the S&P uh, got up here and we were unable to take out the previous high and we sold off by the end of the day. IWM, same action. Shooter, the Qs just rolled over from the get-go. I think the first 30 minutes we were somewhat strong. And then, of course, by the end of the day, we sold off pretty good. And the only one that really did nothing was the Dow. So that's where we kind of are with the indices here. And I've had a lot of people ask me why I've changed my symbols from the SPY, IWM, QQQ, and DIA. And what you see here on the left, these are actually the ETFs for the SPY, for the IWM small caps, for the Qs, and for UDOW. This right here is for the DIA. Uh, why did I do that? I did it because these are the four that I trade within my retirement account, and it allows me to go long when the market is healthy. And then the one right here, TQQQ, this is my cash account, and this one allows me to go long or short. The other ones you will not be able to do that, but this is the one that I like to trade a lot. For those of you who have been in the Discord server with me, you know that we talk about these four a lot, and it's just kind of a different mindset, but overall, they're very affordable. They move. By far, the TQQQ is the best one out of all of these. So if you want, give these a shot. There's absolutely no reason why you can't go along the market in an ETF. I know a lot of people who trade the SPY. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you. I feel more comfortable trading these because they're more affordable. You be you. And that leads me to one of the important topics here within the market. And when you trade, you need to identify who you are in the market and what you're comfortable with. And we talk about this a lot within the Discord because there are so many of you out there who have not taken the time to define who you are as a trader. And if you're struggling, that's probably one of the areas that you're struggling with. Because one day you're this guy, and then the next day you're the next guy, and then this strategy worked, and then it didn't work, and now you're going to become someone else. And you need to define not only the time frames that you trade with, but you also need to define as a trader how you trade and understand that no matter what you have in place, you're going to have winners and losers. And I'm very, very open about that in the Discord server. Uh, Not everything works out, and you've got to be able to understand why a trade works and when a trade doesn't. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to trade these ETFs is because we do things as simple as if TQQQ here is above the 10, we stay in this trade until it breaks and then we get out. But then if we reclaim it, we get back in and we just stay in this trade until it tells us to get out. And the market was kind of hinting right here that we needed to get out. And then the next day, right here, for sure, we got out. And there are several of the traders in the Discord server who have adopted this simple strategy. And you're going to find out quickly with me that I like simple. I do not complicate things as far as the charts And some of the people that have adopted this, they they sent me some screenshots of what their charts used to look like, and seriously, I couldn't even see the candles, let alone the price action. And I just let price tell me exactly where I want to be and how I'm going to trade around it. So, without further ado, here, let's get to the watch list. And let me show you something here. Speaking about time frames. So, we talked about how this is the year, the quarter, the month, the week, and this is the daily. So, this right here is a daily 6 month. And for me, even the 6 month tells me a different picture. What do I mean by that? Well, you can see here that we have all this price action here. But to me, it just doesn't show me the big picture. So watch what happens when I move this out to 2 years. That is such a better picture for me. And I see now that earlier in the year, we took this descending trend line right here. And then we have just been in this uptrend the whole time. And so now we're actually setting up to pull back and possibly go back up or to roll over and test this trend line down here. That is the big picture for TQQQ for me. Some of you have never done that. You've never pulled it back to look at where we are. And those are the same people that are using the intraday charts, and they will explain technical analysis to me until they are blue in the face. But yet they will not take the time to pull back a chart on a 2 year daily and look at the technical analysis. And look at this thing. We ran right to not only that level, but we also ran right here to this level right there. And you can see how we went to it and now we're pulling back. And I have no idea how far this is going to pull back. No one does. But I do know that based upon how I do things, and again in the Discord server, you'll hear me say this. This is my previous high. This is my previous low. How did I get that? I define previous high and previous low, the highest point above the 10-day moving average, and then where price ended up below the 10-day moving average right here. So you could even say right here that this is the new low, but for now, I'm just going with this range right here. This is how I define it. Okay? So the magnitude for me would be from here to down here. Doesn't mean we're always going to get there. It, but I like where price reverses right here. And then we have been in this downtrend here for the last 5 days. That's where I define the change in character of the market. And you can see it here on the Qs. You can see it on the SPY right here. You can see it right here in the IWN or the small caps where we just went nowhere and then we just followed through. And then also on the Dow. Look at this. These are all reversals right here. And if you pull this thing back 2 years, you're going to see how we took this descending trend line right here. We tried to go higher and we got smacked around. Okay? Very, very important that you learn how to see the big picture. Look at all this price action right here. This chop. We tried to go higher and we just got rejected. And right now, we're still getting rejected. Doesn't mean that we can't bounce back up and come up here today. Futures are holding up, so we can see that quite a bit is going on. All right, let's get to the watch list here. And every one of these I looked at earlier today with my coffee, and they all interest me because they are either bouncing or setting up to possibly go higher. CLF here, I'm going to just go ahead and just do this on a daily. But what I like about CLF is that right now, is that you have CLF, change the color here. You have CLF holding this level of support, okay? And now it bounced, it rested, and now it looks like it could come back up here and retest this high and then possibly go back up here. Or guess what? It could come back down here and then come down to this level to take out this previous low. Either which way, this chart is set up to go up or down. Those are the kind of charts that we're going to look at today. Okay? Something that has a lot of action on it. Clorox, you can see, is holding this level of support. This is the wedge that I always talk about in the server as well. This is a beautiful setup, guys. Whenever you see this wedge pattern, this right here is ready for action to either break down or come back up. Um, I don't have it on this one, but let's deviate here a little bit. But let's look at Pfizer here. Look at how Pfizer set up this wedge pattern, and look at where we gapped down today. And then we came right back up. Yeah, real stuff. So let's go through these. Coin, you can see, is just consolidating. Costco is trying to break this wedge. Cisco uh, hit the resistance here and is flipped, turning over. CSX tried to go higher, and now we're just kind of chopping. DraftKings looks good, trying to reverse still consolidating. Could really see this one popping if the market cooperates and if the earnings are good. Extreme Networks, look at how this one took the descending trend line right here, and we just accelerated all the way up, but it got extended and now it's coming down. I would love to see this one come back through here and retest this area. As you guys know, Ford, I always love Ford. Ford right now hit this area, it's pulling back, and maybe today is the day where it reverses and goes higher. But we'll see. We have earnings. I'm currently short Ford right now, but if it gets back up here, I will cover. Flex, you can see, beautiful breakout, coming back though. Flow is right here at this level of support, and so I want to see if this thing continues to bounce. 4, possible trade back down below the 10-day moving average. And so when I see price action like this, what I'll do, I'll short it here at 63.06, and then I'll just have this as my target for the day. And you can see that it put it on a nice 3-bar yesterday. So you'd be out of this trade, or maybe you have a few runners and maybe you can get down to this area right here. But yeah, I love how this consolidated here. Couldn't go higher, pulled back. Tried to go higher again, they pulled it back. Tried to go higher again, pulled back. These are your TTOs. This is the TTO. This is a TTO. And so you got to be aware of a TTO. That's a triangle day out. F, S, L, Y, right to resistance, back down. And again, this is stuff that you're going to see when you pull back your charts to 2 years. You're going to see where buyers and sellers are. Fortinet hit resistance, coming back. This is the area right here. This was your previous high. You can see how we took out this previous high right over here to the left, and we tried to go higher, and then we pulled back. GM tried to break out of this area right here, also along with the descending trend line, tried to go higher, and then it just pulled back. Couldn't do it. Google, same thing. Look at how it set up this descending trend line right here. This is your new descending trend line. Tried to go higher. But watch what happens when we pull Google back on a max. Ah, that looks even better, doesn't it? And sometimes I'll do this. I'll just look at charts on a max. Let's go to 2 years again. Home Depot. What is Home Depot doing? Home Depot, if we pull this all the way back, we can see right now that Home Depot is right at this 50% retracement right here. And then pull back. And so now it's just a matter of, are we going to come back up here and retest this area? Really like this because when you look at the descending trend line here, if we shoot this line right there, we've got one right there that we're setting up for. See that? That's that wedge. Beautiful looking wedge. We'll see if we can get up there. Let's go back to HPE. Look at HPE. Let's pull it back. And you can see right now that HPE is really struggling to get above this line right here. See that? Again, you got to pull it back in order to see this. Look at this. We came right up here. We tested that area. Oops. Wrong one, McPhee. Sorry about that. Must need more coffee. You can see how we took that level right there. And if we can get through that, guess what? HPE looks good right there. But first we have to reverse before we can go higher. So somewhere in here, I'd love to see a reversal and then back up. Or guess what? It could just continue to go down, just like it did right here to the last time it hit, right? Okay, let's go to a 2-year again. Hertz. Look at Hertz here. Holding this level of support right here. We consolidated. Ah, there it is. We took the descending trend line and we busted out of here, and now we're consolidating. Question is, do we go up here or do we roll back over and go down here? We don't know. IMGN, this one is pretty dang extended. Look at this one on a max. Ah, look at that. Look at how we came right through here. We took out this descending trend line, we gapped up, and we just ran. Okay, Intel, let's pull this back. Max. Again, you can see how we took out the descending trend line here and we accelerated to the upside. We hit our targets right up here, and then we're starting to roll back down through. See that? See how we hit this target right here? Couldn't go higher, and they pulled it back. So you could say this right here, that was your target. We tried to go higher. You know, I know a lot of guys who would draw it like that. So let's draw it like that. Everyone was thinking gap fill on this thing, and it didn't do it. It actually just pulled back. And so now, based upon my process, this would be my level of support. Let me pull this back. So what I would like to see, we got this run, the rest, the run, the rest, and now I want to see this thing continue up this way and possibly come back up here and fill the gap, because what we have coming up, we have earnings right here. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't come back down here and retest this level. You got to keep an open mind with all this, okay? Got to keep an open mind. All right, KR. KR is struggling to get above this. I'm currently short on this position, but I can tell you if we get above this right here, I will get out of this trade. To me, it just looks like this thing wants to come back down through here, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. Just means that this thing filled the gap and then we sold off, and now today we'll see if we can get follow through to the upside or just reverse and go back down. Lows looks kind of choppy, doesn't it? But when you pull this back, guys, see a theme here? You can see how we took the descending trend line here. We have this trend line here. If you want, you could even draw the trend line right there. And technically, you would be above this and trying to go up higher. If you did go higher, this would be your target right there. Beautiful looking chart. Lift. Lift had a huge step up. You can see where we took the previous low out over here to the left, and now we're just kind of chopping here. This one is just on a condo list play. I'm just waiting patiently for this thing to set up because I believe it's stuck in this channel right there. See how I drew that? Yeah, just like that. Sooner or later, I'd like to see it take this trend line right here and then go right back up. I've seen that happen too many times in my life, only to miss the move. Mattel is just choppy and ugly. Not sure why I have Mattel on here. Oh, I know why. I have Mattel on here because it's getting rejected by the 10-day moving average right here. You can see where price came up and retested this 1921. It's pulling back. I'm going to look to trade this one for a reversal. Let me zoom in on this. So my alert on Mattel today is 1804. Might as well set that right now. And then I'll put my handy dandy bomb. So if you guys hear this, yeah, that means look out below. Okay, let's go to here. Uh, net. When you pull this thing back, look at this thing. We ran the target here. We pulled back. They tried to bring it back up. Couldn't get through. Pulled it back. So the question is, do they pull it back down here, or do they actually run this thing back up to 71.87 to try to get a run into $80 before earnings here? I like this one. Just a good looking chart. NOV, this to speed this up, holding this level of support, trying to get this to bounce. NetApp wants to come back up here and test this area. This would be my line in the sand if I'm wrong, where I would get out right there. So up, pull back, and then hopefully get back up here to this 75.21. You can see I have an alert right here. Also should set an alert right here because if it doesn't get up there, I want to trade it back down. Trade it back down here. NVIDIA, this is one that a lot of people have chased. And you can see how NVIDIA is just a beautiful chart. Descending trend line right here. You got that right here where we broke out, failed, it pulled back, and then it set back up right here. And this is how a stock will set up if it fails. Came right up here, failed, pulled back, and then we got above it this time, and then we just took off. Look at this thing. Now people are chasing this stock, and I'd love to see it come back here and retest this 351. This is one of your leaders right now. It is not leading. It's getting sold off. A lot of profit taking in NVIDIA. Oracle is another one where it took out this descending trend line and it just ran. And now look, it broadened up here, took out the previous high, and now it's coming back. I like Oracle for a gap fill. Oxy came down through here, just trying to bounce. Uh, Palo Alto, same thing as Nvidia, extended. Paramount can't get above this area right here, and it's trying to pull back. Pure Storage put in an all-time high right here, and now it's pulling back like Pure Storage long term. Pure Storage and HPE are two of my favorite long-term plays in tech. I also like Intel. Roblox, you can see we're just consolidating here. Starbucks, just holding this line. I am short Starbucks right now and will look to try to cover this down at that orange line right here. Just looks sick to me. We do have earnings coming up here on 8/1, so maybe we pull it back and then we run in the earnings, and then if earnings are good, we can get back up to this descending trend line. Schwab failing at 56. SGH failing at 27.20 in that range. Shake Shack, we talked about this one. This is just a good looking chart too. If you pull Shake Shack all the way back, you can see how we set up right here. We set up here. So what does that look like? Because people always ask me, well, what does that look like, McPhee? Well, we got this right here. Connect the 2 points, shoot the line, and here you go. We got above this line, and we ran, we pulled back, we ran, we pulled back, and we ran, and now we're pulling back. This is the run, rest, run that I teach people in the Discord. So let's go ahead and draw it here. Again, this is just how I do things. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. Just means this is how I do it. A run, a rest, a run, a rest, and a run. In that area, kind of like that. Man, that's a really big. There we go. That'll work. You get the point. Shop, same thing. Failing to go higher here. Would like to see a pullback. Snap. Love this beautiful consolidation pattern right here. This is a condo play right here, guys. Just buy it when it gets down here and hold it. But buy a position that you can manage and you feel comfortable with. This was a condo play as well. This is one of the condos that worked for us, where we held this level of support. We bought it when it took the descending trend line, and we were rewarded immensely. It took out all this. Nice play. What else do we have here? AT&T, same thing, failing to go higher, might pull back. TEL, this is a play back to 137.50. Target, wanted to see it get back up above this 138 and then possibly run the higher into earnings. Uber is a beautiful chart. Uber is just absolutely beautiful. Pull this thing all the way back on a daily max, and you can see how beautiful this chart is. Descending trend line, breakout, and now we're just running. Wells Fargo from afar, stuck in this big old wedge just like that. Walmart, same thing, wedge. X, you can see how we're just kind of channeling through here. Wouldn't shock me to see us get back up here and retest this 26 or 28 area. XLF, just kind of choppy and ugly. ZOM is in this tight channel right through here. As long as it holds this bottom one right here, I'll look to trade this back up to here. And then Zillow, last but not least. Just consolidating here, and it looks like it wants to go higher. So that is it. I think we're in the chop again, guys. So you got to be extremely patient with this. And if you would like, come and join us on the Discord channel. But until then, take care. Talk to you later.